Did you guys been catching it, the playoffs?
Oh, how about those Oilers, eh?
You know what? I'm just so sick of the Oilers, all the Oilers talk, because I'm in Edmonton. I'm kind of hoping they get taken out.
Oh, take off, you hoser.
No. You know what? If it wasn't for that arena, then they wouldn't be anywhere.
Hey.
What?
Are we gonna start recording anytime soon, or you guys just gonna talk?
Yeah. We'll start recording. We're, just a second. You know what? If it wasn't for that arena, the Oilers would not be where they are today. That arena is the real MVP of this season.
No, but for real, I'm being serious.
Don't you want to see him hoist the cup, though?
No, Gretzky's the only one that's going to be hoisting the cup in Edmonton.
No, but for real, I'm being serious. We need to stop.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hockey's pretty serious business in Canada.
But, well, I'm not in... We're supposed to be recording a podcast. I'm not even in Canada right now. Like, please. Can we talk about Mario Kart instead of hockey?
The Great White North will not stand for this. All right, hello, and welcome to the 7th episode of Hello Snapshot. I'm the official podcast of our hockey.
Stop,
I'm your
Matt,
host.
We're not doing hockey.
Oh, right. Sorry about that. And now back to Hockey Night in Canada.
I hate all of you.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 7th episode of Hello Nintendo, the official podcast of our Nintendo. I'm your host, Matt, aka TrainAss. And with me today, we have got Harrison, aka Frobro.
What's popping with the people?
We've also got a couple new voices with us today. We are joined by Adam, aka Subwizzle.
Hey, everybody.
And we finally pulled him out from behind his desk. We've got with us the man, the myth, the legend. He's our very own editor, Dan, aka mbcnerdcore.
What's up, people?
Thanks, guys, for joining me today.
No problem. Thanks for having us. I'm happy to finally get on.
Me too.
I'm glad you guys were able to make it out. So as is Hello Nintendo tradition, we're going to talk to our new hosts and ask them a few questions, find out about them, and get to know them a bit better. So, Adam, what do you do for the subreddit?
I am a CSS and graphics mod, so I'm the one that does those themes you see every time the banner and sidebar and all that stuff changes. It's usually
Those things are awesome.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad people are liking them.
Yeah, very much so. I find those themes really tie the whole room together.
Yeah, they're quite impressive.
Oh, thanks, man. I have a good time making them. I'm just sitting there and I'm like throwing the Nintendo images together. It's fun. I like doing it.
You must be pretty bummed that they're going to be taking the CSS away from us, though.
I know. Well, I guess I gotta see the new tools first to see what we can work with. But as of right now, I'm a little upset. I do like CSS, so I don't know.
I'm sure whatever comes out, you'll be able to make some good magic with it. So, Adam, what was your first game console?
My first ever game console was the NES. My dad had one, and I just kind of took it over, and I don't know. I didn't really know how to play. I would just kind of run forward in Mario and fall in holes and have a blast. When I was a little kid.
Sounds like when my 5-year-old started playing.
Trial by fire. You got to keep going until you can learn to get to the end of the level.
Very true. What was your favorite game on the system?
My favorite NES game? That's tough. It's not the best game, but probably Zelda 2: Adventures of Link, just because my dad, my brother, and I would just sit there and we'd all play together, and it was a blast. He'd come in after dinner and he'd be like, "You guys want to go play Link?" And we're like, "Oh yeah." So we'd go there and we'd sit there for hours and just play together. And it was.
I think that's actually the worst NES game, dude.
I know, it's not a good game or anything. I just have such good memories of it.
It's not even close to the worst NES game. Not even close.
As far as Nintendo ones go, yeah, dude, it's pretty bad.
I mean, it's not worse than baseball.
Hey,
Or any of those generic name Japanese one-shots that they had in the first year.
that NES baseball game is awesome. I love that game. That was one of the first games I stuck on my NES Classic when I had it hacked.
You could have played anything, and then you're like, let me put on baseball.
Yeah, baseball and hockey.
I love NES Hockey. That game's awesome.
Yes, with the fat player.
Please stop.
Yeah. And then there's what's it like called, Blades of Steel.
Oh, Blades of Steel that game is awesome.
Blades
Did you ever get the
of
the
Steel.
hidden mini game that I think you can unlock in between? I think it's the second and third periods.
It's a demo of Galaga, yeah.
Oh, was it?
Because it was a Konami game. Sorry, the Blades of Steel was a Konami game, and so they used that opportunity to give you a demo of another Konami game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it was probably one of the first times a console could even do that. Like, there was no such thing.
That's totally cool.
So, Adam, what's with the username? How did you come up with that?
Okay, it's kind of a dumb story, but back in high school, I worked a really lame job, like most high schoolers do, and at a grocery store. And I had this one coworker who was like the whitest guy you'll ever see, but he liked to talk like he was like a gangster all the time. And whenever he asked me if I wanted to go to Subway for lunch, he would say, "Hey man, you want to go hit up subwizzle?" And then, I don't know, I always thought that was funny. And then when I sat down to make my Reddit account, I just thought of that and put it in there.
That's awesome. It's always really interesting to hear where everybody gets their handles from. There's always some sort of weird history to them.
Yeah, I just had the saying, hey man, you want to get some subwizzle? Like, burned into my head for a long time. And then I sat down and I'm like, I'll just do that.
Nice. So when you are not Redditing, when you're not moderating, when you're not working on the CSS, what do you do? What do you get up to?
Well, I work as a graphic designer for a sports company, so I'm usually doing that, making logos, making pamphlets, all that fun stuff. But in my free time, I like to play video games, just relax, listen to music, play hockey, go to the backyard. I have a net in my backyard. I'll just go there and just shoot pucks at it when I'm bored, kind of thing.
You are a true patriot, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
I raise my keys to you.
I will raise my moose head.
Man, this podcast is way too Canadian right now.
That's why you're here. You're so American. You're like pure America, and you can balance it out yourself.
So, Embassy,
Yo.
what is it that you do for the subreddit?
Well, believe it or not, I know you guys had Mario Master on here the other day, and he said he was the newest member of the team, but that's actually not true. I am the newest member of the team. I was brought on literally like 3 days before the Switch reveal trailer released, the original, Karen video. That was the week that I started. All I was doing was helping out moderate the subreddit to keep it clean during the hype train. And then I've been just twiddling around, helping out moderate when I can, but you guys keep the queue so clean. There hasn't been a whole lot for me to do, but I do bring my input and advice to the Slack and help talk about plans and things like that. But mostly, I edit this podcast.
And a fabulous job you do, too.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, huh?
I just want to quickly talk directly to all the listeners out there. First of all, thank you so much for giving us a shot and adding us to your bi-weekly list. You guys are the reason we do all this. We are doing this podcast specifically for our Nintendo subreddit and that community. So if you're a part of that community, this is for you. We want to hear your feedback, and a lot of you guys have been giving us some great feedback already. Like, for instance, there's too many long, awkward pauses, and we're going to work on our delivery as we get better as hosts. And there's also, we've got some audio issues, things like that. I'm getting the hang of this as we go as well. But we're trying our best, and we appreciate you sticking with us and growing with us so that by the time we're at episode 100, episode 200, we're going to be old pros, and you guys are going to get all nostalgic about this episode in particular.
I'm tearing up a little. That was beautiful.
It was very well said.
That's all.
So, Dan, what was your first console?
It sounds to me, from all the episodes that I've been editing, all the interviews you guys have done with each other, I think I've played the most video games of anyone here. And so when I started, I was like 5 years old. I was playing the original NES at my friend's house. I didn't have it, but I was at his place all the time playing Super Mario 1. So that was like the first video game I ever played, other than another friend's Game & Watch in like kindergarten. But yeah, I'm like an 80s, early 90s child. So the first console I owned, the first console I got for Christmas and opened under the tree kind of thing, was the Super NES. And it was a launch Super NES with Super Mario World and Legend of Zelda and F-Zero and Pilotwings. And those 4 games were my life for like my whole childhood.
Hold on, there's a pattern here. I just want to... Am I the youngest person here right now?
Probably.
Today, yeah.
Wow. You guys are talking about like memories of playing the NES. Yeah.
So Dan, what's with the username? How did you come up with that one?
Well, okay, so I'm a DJ. That's what I've built my career on, and I've been doing it for 14 years. And at some point, I got sick of all the people asking me, hey, what's your DJ name? And I just say, I'm Dan. So I came up with the name Embassy for a side project I was working on, and that turned into my DJ name. So now I'm DJ Embassy, although I don't really get booked as a solo act. I'm part of a company, so I work for the Much Video Dance. Shout out to Much Music in Canada and the whole Much crew, because they have been my home for over a decade now.
Hold on, I think you're holding out on us. You mind going further into that side project you used Embassy for?
Oh, that side project. Okay, so in like 2010, because I'm a huge nerd, I put out a nerdcore rap album and used the name Embassy for that. So it was very independent, just me and my producer buddy and some guest stars and some hard work, and we spent like a year. We just kind of were doing it on the side and got it done. We didn't make any money on it. We didn't get famous off it. Nothing like that. But I did get to go to a bunch of Star Trek conventions, and I think Felicia Day owns my album, so that's my claim to fame.
Actually, you know what? I think we might have something here, because I haven't told the rest of the mod team this, but I actually have myself a hot ass single.
You rap?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, can I just say, without any offense, you are as much of a stereotype as we are of Canada?
Nah. I'm not that much of a stereotype. It's just one single. It's called Relentless Flow. Alright, because I spit, hot bars, unrelenting, no stop, no chorus, nothing. Just 3 minutes, hard bars coming at you.
Here, okay, I'm gonna throw down the gauntlet right now. And if this works out, we'll keep this in, but if we can't get it together, we'll just edit this out of the podcast retroactively and pretend it never happened. But I challenge you to an E3 rap battle on our E3 episode.
Yeah? Not right now, we can't.
On our E3 episode.
But yeah, we can do it.
You bring your best, I will bring my best.
Okay, yeah, I'm down for that. Actually, I got a better idea. After that, we can go full blown. We could make a rap group, and I already got our name. Are you ready for this?
Go for it.
Hot Local Singles. That's our rap name.
Except I'm not single.
No one else needs to know that. We're not J-pop idols. No one cares.
I'll be the hot local.
No, I'm serious. We could do it. Because, I got 2 MIDI keyboards, and you got experience producing content as well. We could do this.
So, as I'm sure you've already known by now, the worst habit that everyone has at our Nintendo is our ambition and our creativity. And we're constantly coming up with an idea, 5 seconds later raising the bar significantly, and then getting about half of it done. So shout out to everyone at our Nintendo that works so hard to implement all the crazy ideas everyone's coming up with all the time. That's just one more crazy idea that I hope we can explore.
So Dan, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what all do you do outside of Reddit when you are not moderating?
Yeah, so I work as a DJ. I've got a beautiful fiance. We're planning a wedding, so that's what I've been up to this year. She is a wonderful mother to a beautiful little boy who was 3 months old when we got together, and so I'm kind of somewhat of a stepdad, and so that's what I spend a lot of my time doing is having fun playing video games with a adorable 6-year-old and planning a wedding with my wonderful wife to be and playing a whole bunch of nerdy games and video games and partying is my life.
Did you just say you've been with her for 6 years and you're just about to marry her?
Well, we got engaged 2 years ago, and being a DJ who isn't Khaled, I don't have a whole lot of money, so we're grinding through life, as it were, and make the best of it.
All right, I was just confused.
Yeah, but shout out to DJ Khaled. Just hook me up, man.
Shout out to DJ Khaled. We the best.
It is. I highly recommend everyone marry this girl. She's amazing.
I don't know. I think my wife's gonna have something to say.
It's a small country. We have the same wife.
Oh, okay. That's right.
There's like 9 of us again.
We're now gonna go and check out and see what the other guys have been playing since we last talked. Frobro, what have you been playing the past couple weeks?
You guys know me, still a fraud, still playing Shin Megami Tensei. When I picked up the game, I didn't think it was going to be a 50-hour game, but here I am 50 hours later, still not done.
I don't think I've ever played a video game for less than 50 hours.
I actually got the neutral ending that I wanted, and now I'm just tired of walking around Tokyo. I mean, I'm lost. I know for the neutral ending, there's some side quests I got to do, but I'm not trying to side quest. So I haven't really been playing that much in the past couple of days. I'll get around to it. You know, I got hit with that SMTBS. Anyone who knows what that is. I'm just having whatever the opposite of fun is right now.
Maybe it's time then to move on.
That's true.
If you're not having fun anymore.
50 hours, I can't stop. I gotta finish it.
50 hours. Those are rookie numbers, and you gotta pump those numbers up.
He's in too deep now. He can't stop.
This is a 3DS game.
Oh, yeah, I guess. So, Adam, what have you been playing over the last couple weeks?
I'm still really into Zelda Breath of the Wild, man. Like that game is something else. I've been playing. I think I have like 150 hours in that game right now. And like the other night, I literally just ran around and just upgraded my armor for like 2 hours, and I had a blast. Like I'm just so into that game.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I haven't even finished the first Divine Beast. I've just been trying to get shrines and everything.
Yeah, like I did all 120 shrines, and I did all the. I'm trying to do all the side quests right now, and I'm trying to get all the armor upgrades to the max. Like I can't stop playing that game.
There's so much in that game. So Dan, what have you been playing over the last couple weeks?
Definitely Breath of the Wild. I don't have a Switch yet. I gotta say that first and foremost. We are planning on getting a Switch to take on our honeymoon the week of our honeymoon. So that's happening in like July. But for now, I caved. I was gonna be like, just I'll wait until I get a Switch and play it then, but I couldn't wait. You guys have been, not just you, the whole internet, the whole world has been telling me to get this game. So I'm going to be honest and say I downloaded it for Wii U directly onto my hard drive on the Wii U, and that's been the best way to play. I think is on my couch, not in transit like you Switch people. I was gonna say traffic. Not in traffic.
Our Nintendo does not endorse distracted driving while switching while driving.
Don't switch and drive is what he's trying to say.
So for me, for the past couple of weeks, I finished up the Fallout 4 quest mod that I voiced in. That was actually a lot of fun. It was really well done. So I'm looking forward to hopefully they'll have another project coming up that I'll be able to go for. I've been playing a little bit of Breath of the Wild, and then Puyo Puyo Tetris arrived on Tuesday, so I've been playing a lot of that. I played the crap out of that demo, and then once the cartridge showed up, I've been playing that. I thought, hey, I'll try this online. No, I'm absolutely horrible online, and what's even worse is if you've got the game, go take a look at some of the replays online, and look for the guys that there's one person who is number 1 ranked in the world and the region, and you watch him play, and it's like my wife and I were watching this replay, and it is insane. There is no way that this is humanly possible to finish this. I think the game was over in like a minute and a half. It's unreal.
I believe people can be that good at video games. I used to think I was good at video games, but I never got past hard mode on Guitar Hero. And I'll tell you, watching people play Guitar Hero and Rock Band on Expert blows my mind, especially when they go into the settings and tweak it all to go faster and all that. and then use cheat codes to go even faster or whatever. The coordination that the human body is capable of is incredible. And if you practice something enough, you can be amazing at it. There's people playing video games the way Yo-Yo Ma plays the cello.
So aside from Puyo Puyo Tetris, I've also been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I've only played a couple cups. I've been doing a lot more of the online battle, which is amazing. It's so good. And something that we'll touch on later in the episode. So we're going to go over to some news topics. And I'm going to pass things over to Adam for our first topic.
All right, so first topic, the NES Classic getting discontinued, and there's also rumors of an SNES Classic coming out. What do you guys think about that?
I'm kind of bummed that the NES Classic had such a short lifespan. It's,
But you have one though, right? So what do you have?
Yeah, sure, I've got one, but still, lots of other people didn't get one.
But there's no like online multiplayer or anything. Whether other people have it is like completely irrelevant.
Doesn't matter. It was still kind of cool to have.
Doesn't matter, had NES.
Yeah, pretty much.
At the shareholders meeting, didn't they show some number like 2 million sold?
I think it was 2 million was the number, yeah.
I don't think expected to sell 1 million. I think they were totally unprepared for people treating it as a real console launch because there was nothing for Wii U at the time, rather than treating it as a novelty side toy like a.
And the Switch wasn't ready. See, what people need to realize is that for the tech industry, like something ridiculous, like 60% of all technology sales happen around like October, November. And at the time, Nintendo didn't have anything because the Wii U was discontinued. Nothing came out on 3DS, and the Switch hadn't launched yet. They needed something for that big holiday block where something like 60% of the tech sales happen. So they made this garbage little emulator, and they stuck it inside a nice little box. And they sold it. There's similar products exist, like the Sega Genesis one and the Atari one are the only two that I know, plug-and-play emulators, that are officially made. I know those didn't sell well. I could go to Dollar General and get that Sega one I'm talking about for like, the box says the MSRP is like 50 or 40, and I can give them 15 and walk out with it in my hands.
The NES Classic was made as a impulse buy at Walmart shelves for grandmas to be like, oh, that's cute. I remember he used to have one of these back in, the 80s when he was 6 years old. And I'll just, nostalgia and get my 29-year-old. My math is off, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's not meant as a gamers on the internet research and pre-order the console kind of event. It was supposed to be more like the McDonald's toys and other stuff that's limited edition.
It's a very like niche product. I don't think they're really expecting it to like explode like it did. Like those things are flying off the shelves, and I don't think they're ready for that.
I will say that the hardest working people in Nintendo that were a part of that project were the people that negotiated the third-party stuff. So basically lawyers were the hardest working people on the NES Classic, because there's a lot of third-party games on there that all need contracts in order to put on the NES Classic. So you've got to have deals in place, and I think those deals expired after like 6 months to a year. So they're not going to be able to sell it again. They're not going to have the third-party rights for those games again, because they would have to renew all those contracts. That's why I think it was meant as a limited run, and then when it was successful, then they decided, okay, we'll produce some extra because we still have some time, and we've got this space rented at the factory or however they do their factory. Distribution as a part of marketing is very complex, and so they had planned this to be like, okay, we're going to be done by February, and then they pushed it out to April. And so I'm happy that they did that, but obviously there's a lot of people critical of Nintendo for not anticipating that demand, and they have a right to be critical to an extent, because, like I said, the lawyers were the hardest people working on that project. They half-assed the emulator, they half-assed the hardware, because it's supposed to be made on the cheap and super quick.
So what do you think about the rumored SNES Classic? You're just talking about how lawyers were able to get that third party.
Well, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Obviously, they should do it, especially now that they know the demand of the NES one. They would probably treat it a little more seriously, which is probably a reason why it won't happen anytime soon. It could happen, but they would now do it right, and that takes time and more investment and more money and probably a more expensive end price. Considering they know people were willing to scalp these things for $200-300, I bet you would see a $149 SNES Classic or a $99 SNES Classic at least.
I don't even think it'd ever happen, because like the SNES is like, as far as if we made a ranking of best consoles ever, the SNES is like 2 or 3. And most of the games that would make it the best console of all time aren't Nintendo games. Like, and this thing's not going to have 30 games either. Like, it's going to be like a 15 game deal, and like half of them aren't going to be Nintendo games. And the Super Effects license is weird, so games like Star Fox and Yoshi's Island, those won't make in. And even if they were going to do it, they would wait for like a 30th anniversary. They wouldn't do it up and out of the blue. The stars don't align. I don't think this product's ever going to come out, or any other mini variant for any other console.
I'd rather have Virtual Console on Switch, to be honest. It's like a Super NES you can take with you, whereas the SNES Classic, you wouldn't be able to take it with you.
And it gets opened up by piracy too. Don't forget that.
Actually, you know what? The Super NES is so much more tempting to pirate because there's so many good... Like, there's more games on NES, but a lot of the people that put out games on NES didn't know how to make video games. And so with the Super NES, everything's polished. Most of the games are good.
There's also some unreleased games that either never made it stateside or just never made it at all. So things like F-Zero 2 and Star Fox 2 and Radical Dreamers as well. Like those games, I don't think we'd ever see them officially released, but if we had an SNES Classic, perfect for people to go and toss those games on there and be able to play them again.
Right there is the reason why people would pirate and hack the Super NES Classic if they released one.
I don't know, because the mini Famicom had some games that were Japan only.
Yeah, the regions had different games, I think. No, well, maybe not Europe and the US, but I think Japan had different games on theirs.
They had Atlantis no Nazo, right? That's what it's called? That game that's dumb impossible? Not because it's a good game?
Well, that's a lot of NES games, but I think, yeah, that's the one you're talking about.
Oh, no, I don't think they'd have regional variants. And because they wouldn't have regional variants, they wouldn't have games that exist only in one region.
Well, for something like Radical Dreamers, if you've never heard of it, it's actually the game that bridges Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. And it was released back in 96, and it was for the Satellite View add-on for the Super Famicom.
Satellaview, yeah.
Oh, Stellaview, sorry. Which never made it outside of Japan, which is why it never, made it to North America. There have been fan translations of the game, but I could see that being an example of a game that I don't think we'd really see on an SNES Classic.
They're not going to put so much effort into niche titles for a novelty Walmart thing. They're just not. And so they'd have to take it more seriously. But here, let me propose this to you instead. Nintendo, I want you to listen really carefully here. Here's what you do, all right? You sold, Frobro, correct me if I'm wrong, the NES Classic sold for $60 US?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so here's what you do, Nintendo. Put out the Switch Virtual Console at $5 an NES title, $8 a Super NES title, $10 an N64 title, $15 for a GameCube title. That's the basic price that we've always had. Now,
yo, Path of Radiance for $15? Let's go. Do it. They won't do it.
But $60, all the Super NES games. Like, just throw it out like a monthly. What's $60 in a year? Like $8 a year? Or a month, rather?
$60 over a year? It's $5 a month.
Okay, so $5 a month, every month, $60 a year. Give me every single Super NES game you put on Virtual Console. You can call it a rental or subscription service. Say that I can't access them if I don't pay up on a month. That's fine. Do it like that. You just put the Super NES Classic, if you're thinking about it, in our Switches.
I would love if Virtual Console became like a Netflix thing, kind of like you talked about. You pay however much a month, and you can just access all these games for like SNES or whatever on the Switch.
Or $15 a month for all the consoles. Don't split it by console. Just charge us like $20 a month almost, and give us everything. Or let's say 15, because people will bitch and complain if they go that high.
I'd definitely do like 20 a month for like the whole Virtual Console. That'd be perfect. Or 15, I guess, if you don't want to complain.
Pretty much what you guys are describing is what Microsoft's doing in the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, I think Sony's got a similar thing with PS Now too.
That's because it's a good idea.
It is. It's a very good idea, and I was actually kind of shocked that Nintendo didn't announce something like that, when they announced the Switch and everything.
Oh, just wait for E3, my friend.
Oh, man, if Nintendo announced something like the Game Pass for the Switch, it's over. Like, Nintendo wins everything.
So moving on to the next topic, the new Super Nintendo 2DS XL. What is this topic? Mario Master trying to be funny? They made the new 2DS, Nintendo new 2DS. What do you guys think about that?
Well, did anyone see this coming?
No. But now that I think about it, it makes too much sense.
They got a lot of feedback.
Because they got a lot of 3DS games still coming.
They said they're going to support the 3DS with first-party games until 2018, at least.
Do you remember whenever they said that the 3DS or the Switch wasn't replacing the 3DS, and everyone's like, "Lol, they're lying," and here we are. New 2DS is coming out. 3DS title's still on the way.
Can we talk about the design of this new 2D? Oh my god! I have like a new 3DS XL, like the Majora's Mask one, but I kind of want this thing. It just looks so cool.
One thing I gotta say about Nintendo's new products, the Switch, and this thing is like, when we first saw the Switch, the first thing I said was, it looks like someone else made it. Nintendo's always had this idea that they're toy makers first and that their console should always look playful. Look at the Nintendo 64 controller, or look at the actual GameCube, or look at the Wiimote. Like, everything's so plastic. Or the gamepad's a really good example of something that looks bulky for no real reason. Compare it to the Switch. This 3DS looks so... I love this serious tech look they're going for. I love it. It's so clean. It's the cleanest thing I've seen.
The design of the new 2DS looks a lot like the DS Lite, where it's very, very smooth, very clean. It even just fits together quite beautifully.
I'm going to attribute the modernization of Nintendo in the past couple of years to a generational shift, where you've got, and this is the way the whole world works. You start off with something big, let's say in the 80s, and you build it from nothing with your team of like super talented geniuses like Miyamoto. And Yamauchi said, "Okay, Miyamoto, go make me an empire." And Miyamoto's like, "Done." And those visionaries and many, many, many more built Nintendo into the juggernaut that it is. And then they get old and they retire. And rest in peace to Satoru Iwata. And we have now a new fresh blood talent getting executive positions because of this. And those executive decisions are getting made based on the world they grew up in, which is the world of modern, iPads and, Skype and the modern tools, Xbox Live, and Nintendo is catching up rapidly because of this. All it takes is the right people in the right business decisions to make this thing happen, and it pays off in how good it looks. But keep in mind that in 40 years, it's going to look retro as hell because everything always does. So it's great that they nailed down what people today think of is a great looking product.
Can we get a moment of silence on the podcast? I know silence on podcast is bad, but moment of silence for all the hinges on DSs. I imagine this one's going to be horrible too, so shout outs to the hinges on DSs, the real MVPs.
Back in my day, we didn't get hinges. We got Game Gears, and they took 8 AA batteries, and they lasted 3 hours, and we liked it. Or at least enough to brag about it.
And if you were playing in your car, you had to wait for the streetlights to go by so you could see your screen.
Did you guys see the Dragon Quest special edition for that new 2DS they announced?
No.
Yes.
Whoa, wait, what?
I totally want that. It looks so slick. It's metallic, metallic gray, Dragon Quest edition.
It's got the metal slime on it too? Boy, but I already got a 3DS. I don't need another 3DS. No.
Yeah, it has the metallic slime. It's got like the metallic smiling slime in the corner. It's so cool.
I can imagine it in my head.
I don't even play Dragon Quest, and I want it just because it looks so nice. It looks so awesome.
I know.
I was actually thinking of getting a couple of the new 2DS, one for myself, one for my wife, so that to upgrade her DS Lite, and then my new 3DS XL will go to my oldest, and then my old 3DS will go to my youngest when she, probably next year or something. So we'll be a DS family.
You should name your next kid New Kid XL.
No. We're not having any more kids.
Yeah, that new name is a mouthful, dude.
Oh yeah.
Even when abbreviated, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah, no, that one's going to be hard to come by, I think, and I've already started looking where I can try and pre-order it. I'm afraid, though, it's going to be Japan only.
No
so
way.
far, everything that I found
has
been indicating it's been Japan. Like, I haven't...
How about Nintendo of America tweeting about it?
It's launch... have you seen the launch date? The launch date is.
I think you talk with the slime one. I think.
Yeah, the slime one.
Oh,
is
yeah,
what
that's
I'm talking
definitely going to be
about. Yeah,
Japan
that one.
only.
Oh, okay. Not the whole product. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. The whole product's coming to... No, I'm talking about the slime one. That slime one, I think, is going to Japan. So that's the only thing that kind of scares me, is that if I were to have to import it...
Unfortunately, I
Is
think
it
I
region
think I
locked?
agree with you there.
Which is going to really suck, because if it is Japan only...
I haven't heard anything about it coming to North America yet.
Yeah, it's not going to be like the Switch, which is region free, right? And the 3DS is not, so that's the only thing that scares me.
You don't even play Dragon Quest. Don't worry about it.
No, I don't, but I still want the system, because it looks awesome.
It does look awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, is it the guy that does Dragon Ball that does the art for Dragon Quest?
Akira Toriyama.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
And he did Chrono Trigger, and he's doing
Yeah.
some other stuff coming up too. I don't know what. I can't remember, but I think it's on PS4. So forget about it. But the great thing about his art is that it looks exciting no matter what franchise it is, because spiky hair makes good lines, and they have a great sense of like expression. Like one thing Dragon Ball is very good at is drawing intense expressions in different ways over and over again. And so if you like Matt, you said, like, even if you've never played Dragon Quest, it looks super cool.
All right, so we're going to pass things over to Dan here.
All right, everybody. Our third topic today is that they have hacked the 3DS eShop database. I don't know how they did it, but they can take a look and see what's on like the code of the eShop. And they found a listing for Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga DX, which we would assume is a re-release of the original Game Boy Advance Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which is a fantastic game. It's one of those experimental games because it was the first time Nintendo has tried to do a multi-character RPG in the Mario series, because they had the Paper Mario with, you had allies, but they're like most JRPG allies where they just kind of live inside you as you walk around and then show up in the battles. But with Mario and Luigi, the whole concept is you're always controlling both Mario and Luigi in the game world all the time. And so you have these platforming elements along with the RPG elements. So your A button is Mario and your B button's Luigi, or it might be the other way around. And then you've got an R or an L button for each one too. I think L is obviously Luigi and R was Mario. That was all the buttons the Game Boy Advance had, so that's all you got. You had a jump button and an action button. And then you had to do turn-based battling with that system as well, with timed hits, as most of Nintendo's Mario RPGs go. If they're going to re-release it or remake it, I think that's fantastic, because there's been a lot of people that have been playing these games in the series all the way up to the new ones. Those people are going to be extremely happy going back and revisiting a game that they might not have been able to play outside of illegal emulation and whatnot, or Virtual Console re-release, or the Game Boy Advance, or original DS. And we're well beyond that. That was like a decade ago or more. So there's a lot of people that are going to get to play this game for the first time. If it's true, as with all crazy hacking rumors and things, this could be as true as the Mario and Rabbids RPG.
I can't believe anyone believed that one. What do you think, Matt?
I don't know, it'd be kind of nice to be able to play it, because I missed it on the original Game Boy Advance, and I don't know, I kind of like these games. So I'm hoping that it comes out, and I know my kids will like it, that's for sure, because they're starting to like these kinds of games. So it'll also be kind of good to be able to something to play together. Yeah. So Fro, what do you think of the rumored Mario and Luigi?
I would like to start with the way they've gone through the database on the eShop is the same way we found out about Twilight Princess HD super early. So I wouldn't expect this like anytime soon, like within the next month or two. And also, we were talking about Mario Luigi Superstar Saga like a couple podcasts ago. Funny to see it re-released ? I'm not sure I like that DX. It's certainly not HD, and 3DS didn't need another Mario and Luigi. But I like the first one a lot, actually. The way I played Mario and Luigi was through the GameCube's Game Boy player, and with that you just put the Game Boy game in and you can play on your TV. But if you've got a second controller, you can plug it in and both players have access to the controls. So I played with my kid brother where I was Mario and I exclusively used the A and R buttons, and he was Luigi who used B and L buttons. It was fun. Obviously the writing, awful. We had difficulties at first with the platforming because how you have to alternate jumps to go upstairs. And some moves required Luigi to use his hammer on Mario, or Mario uses Fireball on Luigi. But I mean, it was a fun way to play, I think. As for this game, Mario and Luigi is of the not Pokemon turn-based combat is my favorite because Paper Mario was never good. Just saying it. I'll probably skip it because I've already played it, but I just don't. There's a big question mark on this one.
Fight me.
Fight you for what?
Mario Luigi Superstar Saga is one of the best Mario RPG games they've put out.
It is, but like if they were if they re-released like Bowser's Inside Story DX, I'm all over that one.
Yeah, but that's so recent that it doesn't really even need an update. It just needs a port.
I don't even think this one needs an update. This one just needs a port. They could have just threw it on the eShop. Well, maybe not the 3DS eShop.
What if they what if it's like full 3D cutscenes? Like what if they really redo it?
Even better, I don't even want them to redo it. Like, I really do wish it's just a port, because the Mario and Luigi sprite style is, like, my favorite. So, if anything, I hope the DX is just, I don't know, some code or some nonsense that doesn't actually mean anything in it. Can the new 3DS do Game Boy games? Like, it can do SNES games? Can it do Game Boy Advances?
I'm sure the new 3DS can play anything available on the eShop.
No, I'm saying, can it emulate Game Boy Advance games?
Yep. Oh yeah. I think there's 4 or 5 GBA games that you got with the Ambassador program. You know, Brooks, I'm sure will fill us in, but
well, then maybe that's what this is. It might be just a new 3DS or new 2DS exclusive eShop game, and it's not a new remake. It's just something they threw on the eShop. Because didn't Zero Mission? That's a Game Boy Advance game that came with a 3DS Ambassador program.
I have an Ambassador 3DS, and I know for a fact that Fire Emblem is on there. Wario Land 4 is on there.
Mario Kart, yeah, Super Circuit is on there. And I think there's a Kirby game.
Which one? Nightmare in Dreamland?
No.
Amazing Mirror?
Superstars.
Oh, Superstars a DS game.
Oh yeah, right. No, I'm thinking of my Wii eShop. Oh, here we go. Got the whole list here. Metroid Fusion, Mario vs. DK, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Yoshi's Island, WarioWare, Minish Cap, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, Wario Land 4, F-Zero, and it was Amazing Mirror, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror.
Those are all Game Boy Advance games. That's crazy.
Yep. And then there was also NES and Game Boy games on there too, I think. Or just Game Boy games. I know there was a few more.
Yeah, then that's my guess. It's going to be some kind of, maybe not Ambassador program, but I don't really think that this is a remake. Nintendo wouldn't use resources on something they could just port like that. And this game really doesn't need a remake either.
We're going to go to a couple topics that have been discussed on the subreddit. First topic is the evolution of music in video games. So as games have progressed, from the dawn of video games to how they are now, we've gone from beeps and blips to completely orchestrated soundtracks. Soundtracks that can rival the biggest movie motion pictures.
Even the best video game soundtracks have a hard time topping movies for the most part, because current games have an orchestral score, especially JRPGs usually have an orchestral score, but the kinds of games that have the best soundtracks, the ones that everyone's constantly thinking about when you consider best video game soundtracks, we're talking about like the Super NES and N64 era, where it was a MIDI recreation of an orchestra, and people have then done it live and toured with it. And shout out to the Zelda orchestra that tours around. I love that. It's so cool.
Have you seen it?
I at one point had tickets to it and gave those tickets to a buddy of mine. And he said it was great because I couldn't go. I was scheduling, but he said it was amazing. I've seen pictures. I've listened to the soundtrack CD. I think it's amazing that we are keeping classical music relevant in the modern era through video games primarily.
Oh yeah, it is unbelievable to see it live. My wife and I went to go see it when it came to Edmonton. Words can't even describe how good it is, but they go through all the Zelda games and like the best themes, and everything flows one into another. So when we went, they had a big screen and they'd play cutscenes and clips from the different games that they're playing. They did some bunch of medleys as well. We've also been to Video Games Live and to Play. They're all awesome. What do you think, Fro?
My thoughts for OST for soundtracks, yeah, they got better, but like See, I talked about this in the podcast before, where video games are trying to be more cinematic. And when I think of like movie soundtracks, like they're also, I just don't like the blaring horns and the strings. I think stuff like the way Marvel has music in their cinematic, you know the ones. Like in Iron Man, for example, it's just blaring horns, no real melody, nothing recognizable, nothing iconic enough to remember the next day. And I feel like too many games are going that way too. Like, think like Call of Duty. Can you hum the tune of any Call of Duty song right now? Can you? Like, can you?
I'm going to go with Call of Duty, I think was the name of one of the tracks.
Oh, it's just, I think video games music was at its best, like, the DS era. Like, the DS is so garbage at music, like, putting its sound out. But, like, some of the tracks on there are better than they have any business being. Like the Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver is a good example, or like Professor Layton, like immaculate soundtracks coming out of those garbage speakers. And I feel we've gone away with that. Like even though the tech's getting more sophisticated, the music, the damage is already done. And very few games come out with soundtracks that I would put on my phone. All right, yeah. Next topic is Kirby's 30th anniversary. Kirby is an interesting series, or franchise, I should say, where I'd call it the most Nintendo. I don't think I've talked to Matt about it before, where Nintendo likes to change things up with every iteration, but there are no two Kirby games are alike. Sometimes he's got dual powers, or sometimes he's in a labyrinth. Sometimes he's got buddies. Some of them are 2-player, some of them are 4-player. What do you guys think of Kirby's first 30 years and what they plan to do with Kirby in the following year?
Well, some of them are going to be battle games like Smash Brothers. Apparently, that's the next game that they're planning is up to 4 or 8 or maybe even 16 players. Some kind of a 2D battle system similar to Smash Brothers, but with just Kirby.
Have you not seen that? It's that already exists. In Triple Deluxe had a mini game like that. I forget what it's called. It's basically Smash Bros, but with Kirby powers.
Okay, I haven't played Triple Deluxe to be fair, but it sounds like they're taking that mini game and expanding it into its own full game.
They already did. Then there was an eShop exclusive version of that, and now they're making another one. It seems. See,
I feel like the folks over at HAL Labs have a lot of free time, and they'll make a Kirby game doing just about anything. In fact, my favorite Kirby game isn't even a Kirby game; it's Kirby's Block Ball for the Game Boy, because it was such a fun breakout style game. But the series has had golf, it's had pinball, it's had fighting now. And it's had Air Ride.
There are no main Kirby games. That's the real thing. They're all just Kirby games. They change it up that much that every game's a spinoff, yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like there's as many Kirby spin-offs as there are main Kirby games, if not more.
Sometimes he can't absorb power. Sometimes he's got the animal pals he can ride.
Sometimes you're Yarn. That's the last Kirby game I played was Kirby's Epic Yarn. I thought it was great. And it's a great game for kids or anyone new to video games or anyone that thinks video games are too violent.
I think the NES Kirby is probably my favorite. That's the one I always go back to. I didn't really play the Super NES one, like the ones on Super NES. I never touched the GBA ones, but it's because I didn't really have a GBA. My kids like watching me play NES Kirby at the very least.
I mean, like, you're missing out, because I still feel that NES Kirby is one of the worst of them.
I mean, all the NES versions of almost everything is some of the worst versions of that series. It's not like if you look at it in an unbiased way, they've improved on most of their series every console generation. You know, there's no way to say that even the best NES games, like Mario 3,
well, Mario 3 is better than Super... No, I feel like Mario 3 is the best 2D Mario,
No,
though.
but it's not, though. It is. It is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying it's not. Mario 3 is a masterpiece. But on a technical level, obviously the graphics aren't as good. the music is memorable because we've heard it for the past, almost 30 years. But the music, again, on a technical level, is not as real music as, Boo Night Fever.
No, I know what you mean. Stop saying Boo Night Fever.
I just want to make sure we get it in. But like we were saying at the beginning, modern music and modern video games is so cinematic and full of professional orchestras and professional composers and producers that, what a couple of nerds in a small office could pull off with the NES chip, it's a miracle it sounds as good as it does. And that's a testament to the melodies, and Koji Kondo is a musical genius, but even Koji Kondo has outdone that soundtrack with modern technology later on. And it's personal taste too, obviously. Music is subjective. Everyone likes different things, and some people like chip tunes, and some people like the Mario 3 melodies better than, the Yoshi's Island melodies or whatever. But those old NES games are good blueprints, but not objectively better games.
So apparently yesterday some big racing game got released. I don't know. I've never heard of this series before. Something called Mario Kart. No. Yeah, the Switch version of Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, finally got released yesterday to much fanfare. It's currently rated as Amazon's best-selling title of 2017 so far, which is pretty awesome. Nintendo has... They did some big updates to the game. There's brand new battle modes, which because original Mario Kart 8 was kind of greatly lacking in that. So we've got now a balloon battle, which is your traditional battle mode. There's coin runners, where it's just you're trying to get as many coins as possible, and every time you take out somebody, you can grab their coins. There's Bomb Blast, which is very similar to Balloon Battle, only every single question mark block is a bomb, and you get up to 10 at a time. It is unbelievably insane.
You can get 10?
Yeah, you can hold up to 10 bombs at a time, and yeah, it's like if you thought a traditional battle was crazy, this is a whole new level of crazy because it's just explosions everywhere. So it's got shine runners, which is the objective is to grab the shine and try and hold on to it as long as possible while everybody else tries to steal it from you. And then there's Renegade Roundup, which it's like cops versus robbers or cops versus racers. And so the cops all have a piranha plant attached to their cart. And as well as you can also pick up items, and you just got to try and get all the racers into their jail cells. The racers can then unlock the jail cells as well. It's actually a lot of fun. I prefer the coin runners and the Renegade Roundup are my two favorite battle modes out of that.
I'm so excited. I don't have a Switch yet, but Mario Kart 8 is so good on Wii U, and I would buy it again, even though I already bought all the DLC too. It's essential on any Nintendo system. So unless they announce Mario Kart 9 anytime soon, Mario Kart 8 DX is going to consistently be a top-selling Switch game, and people are really, really underselling its importance when they're talking about, quote-unquote, what the Switch needs to succeed and what one game will change its fate. Like we're still talking about the Wii U or like the end-of-life Wii or the end-of-life GameCube, where every online conversation was what one game would change Nintendo's fortunes and turn the whole ship around, and it's always like, well, Grand Theft Auto. But there's been a lot of talk about the Switch's release schedule and a lot of debate about how effective Nintendo is at balancing their first-party titles out on this first year. And a lot of people are unaware of how marketing works, and they don't get how Nintendo shouldn't have just put all these games out right away. And I still think it's too soon to put out Mario Kart 8. I mean, it's essential for the system, so I guess the sooner the better, but there's still no Switches in stores, so you're not really creating a boost in Switch sales with Mario Kart 8 right now. You're seeing it break records on Amazon, and it's going to continue to be a top 5, top 10 sales chart game, but the Switch itself isn't really helped if there's no stock to buy in the store.
I mean, they're working on it. It seems like they're working on the new 2DS as well, but like, I gotta wait. This stuff takes time, so I'm not too upset with releasing Mario Kart 8 now. Actually, I think it's a better look to do that now, because people who were done with Breath of the Wild really didn't have much to do, or at least anything. They didn't seem like they were interested in the other titles. And if you're not interested in Mario Kart, I mean, I guess you're still screwed.
How many people do you think of the what was it, 2.7 million people that bought Breath of the Wild versus the 2.6 million Switches or something like that, or 2.8 and 2.7? How many of those 2.5 million Breath of the Wild players didn't have a Wii U, do you think? Probably at least 500,000. So that's 500,000 people that never got Mario Kart 8, and that's why it can sell probably 1 million in the next month or two.
The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe includes all the DLC, so it's got all the extra racers and all the additional cups that Mario Kart 8 had, including some new ones. We've got Bowser Jr., King Boo, Dry Bones, Inkling Boy and Girl, and Gold Mario.
Let's talk about these new characters real fast. What do you guys think about the characters?
This is kind of off topic, but why haven't they named the Inklings? Why isn't like Inky and Blinky or something like that? Why is it Inkling Boy and Inkling Girl?
They don't need names.
Yeah, they're supposed to represent the player.
Okay,
They're avatars like the villager. They don't need a name.
fair enough. But so is Link, isn't
You
it?
can customize them.
Okay, all right. What about in Fire Emblem?
We're not
No.
getting on the Fire.
We've already had this discussion. Stop. Oh, well, wait. Was Embassy there then? That's because they had default names. The character's name isn't Avatar. Robin is the default name.
No, that's
They
true.
didn't name him.
No, that's true. Okay, so back to Mario Kart then.
So yeah, so then with those characters, there's also a new tier of drifting sparks. They now go up to purple, which
That's worth buying the game right there.
oh, absolutely.
If I can go and beat all of my times in Mario Kart 8 just by virtue of the mechanics of the game itself and autopilot, which is another feature, it's crazy how they can just take a game and say, all right, everyone's now allowed to do a few seconds better each lap. Go.
Yeah, I noticed that in this one they've got auto accelerate and steering assist.
Toddler mode.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize that they were on or there until I started playing. I was like, what the heck's this antenna that's blinking behind me? And then I went and turned it off.
You understand, Matt, you're a parent. You understand what it's like to play a Mario Kart round with someone younger than 8 or 9 and have them, last place, over a lap to go. That's why they started ending the races when everyone except the last place person. They used to let the last place person finish in 64, I thought. The game's always kind of been designed to help that last person get to this finish line faster so that people aren't just waiting around for that guy. Because other racing games definitely do that, where you can finish the race yourself if you're last. And it slows everything down and makes it not fun. People get bored, especially little impatient kids. So this is really cool because now your 5-year-old can play Mario Kart with you and at least get what it's like to beat a few AI every once in a while now.
She's actually gotten a lot better. So now she still sticks to the 50cc cups, but she's gone from last place to like 3rd place most of the races now. She's doing quite well.
We should have a wife and kid Mario Kart tournament.
Well, that works just fine because I don't have wife, kid, or a Switch.
Right. So you get to enter as all the categories. You can enter as wife or kid.
Which meant I get to watch. Actually, I can't even watch unless you stream it. I get to do something else.
You could watch us stream it on Twitch.
So I got a question for you two. With no extra words, just yes or no. Do you think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will have DLC?
No.
Yes.
Discuss.
It's already included. All the DLC is there.
No. Will it have more DLC for itself?
No.
At one point, will they have $5 packs with like characters and more tracks?
Nope. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is pretty much, it's the complete thing. There's nothing extra to add to it. All the DLC that existed for Mario Kart 8 is included in this version. That's it. They may do some patches for balancing or stability, but that's about it. I think any work now that's going to go into Mario Kart is going to go into the next iteration.
You know what? You convinced me. I was thinking that they would put DLC out, but you're right. If they leave it bare bones, not bare bones, it's so full of stuff, but if they don't give you any extra DLC, it's because there's no reason to, because Mario Kart 9 would be coming next year or the year after, and they'd rather put more content out there. I think the DLC, quote unquote DLC, was the extra bonuses they added to the. Because I think they were just going to do a straight port, and then they were like, well, let's add a few things. Let's add the Inklings. Let's add King Boo and Battle Mode. Because that was the feedback they got about the Battle Mode was the only real negative of Mario Kart 8 at all. So So they hear that, they're like, okay, let's fix a few of these things and put out a port. But that was the effort. The effort's already been put in, and those teams are now moving on, I'm sure.
My guess is that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, as we know it, was originally supposed to be a third DLC pack. And somewhere along the line, they decided it'd be better if they just released a deluxe variant, which is once again, Nintendo's traditional. They don't like doing a whole bunch of new stuff. And I know I'm right. And thanks for agreeing. That was going to be a DLC patch, and they decided somewhere along the line that they should just switch port it instead.
So next, we are going to go through some subscriber questions. First one is from the Amazing Wah. And guys, what experience have you guys had in moderating before becoming moderators of our Nintendo? Fro, let's start with you.
Our Nintendo was my first moderating experience on the internet. I've had a lot of experience with being over people IRL, but I mean, as far as modding go, now that I'm a veteran, because I've been through the hell that was Pokemon Go and the hell that is Fire Emblem Heroes, I'm pretty sure like I know everything. I've been through it. There's nothing you can show me that I haven't seen. Nintendo put me on because, like, if I didn't get on our Nintendo, I would not be on either of those other two subreddits. Because the way I got on Pokemon Go was because of a moderator on our Nintendo. And when it came to getting on Fire Emblem Heroes, I just shout out to Andis. I just sent him a DM, was like, hey, I'm on our Nintendo and our Pokemon Go, so like I know what I'm doing. If you need any help around here, like, look at your boy. And now we're here in the present, and well, look at your boy. I'm out here doing big things.
You say you mentioned that there's probably nothing that we couldn't show you something you haven't seen before. Have you ever seen somebody post a Rule 34 fanfic about a character in the subreddit before?
Okay, if you get any more specific about this next point, I'm going to be suspicious that all you're really doing is asking our listeners to quickly write some Rule 34 up and get it out there.
No, I'm talking about my first year moderating our Nintendo. Somebody had posted thread, and it was a fanfic revolving around Princess Peach, and it was.
You remember a lot of details
because this one it was so out there. Yeah, remember
compared to the other Rule 34 you.
Oh yeah, and yeah, it was just I just remember it was a Rule 30. It was a very graphic fanfic Rule 34 about Princess Peach. That was my first year moderating.
I bet it's still on your hard drive.
No, thankfully it's gone. It had come up in conversation in an Ask Reddit thread at one point, and I was trying to find, because I did take a screenshot just because of how weird it was. I was trying to find it. I was kind of disappointed that I couldn't find it anymore just because of how hilariously sad it was.
Yeah, sad.
Well, I suppose since he wants to tell a specific story, I should tell one. On our Pokemon Go, like in the early days, I'm talking like a little before the game came out, there was a guy who got banned for whatever reason. I don't know. That's not what's important. What's important is what he did after that. He goes into mob mail, and you guys know how it is in mob mail when someone gets banned and they're nice and disgruntled. They start, calling you all types of names, accusing your mama all types of things. And this guy, he comes through and he insults us, so we hit him with a 3-day mute, and in 3 days he comes back and he does it again. Well, we do that song and dance for 4 months. Like at that point, that's whenever Pokemon Go pretty fell out of popularity that way, and he was still harassing us like that, and he does that still every 3 days with a new insult. And he's done it since July last year, and he's still doing it.
There are so many crazy people on the internet.
I have no idea. He takes it, and it's not one word stuff either. I mean, they're paragraphs, and they're not copy pasted memes either. This is nice and personal, thought out letters to the mod team about how he feels about an event that happened last year.
Right on. Well, I used to be on staff as a moderator on Nsider.com, which was cool. That was a long, long ass time ago, though. This was before I did the rap albums. This has been early 2000s. I was still in school and just kind of helping out as a hobby because they needed people to just hold down the fort. I didn't have any authority. I wasn't on the inside or anything like that. It was just something I could do in my spare time because I was a computer geek. And I didn't encounter a whole lot because back then, people on the internet, people have always been kind of crazy on the internet, but it was not acceptable, especially if you were on a corporate website. So it was like, it's not acceptable. And people didn't even think to troll because it really hadn't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
there was a different way of using the internet back in the day. The worst you'd have is people, using vulgar terms and getting too angry at each other, just like now. That's not changed. But what has changed is the whole culture of memes and trying to invent new ones like every week. Like every day there's like hundreds of thousands of people trying to make the funniest meme in whatever category, and that wasn't a competition. That wasn't a thing that people did back then. If you came up with something funny on your own, you did, but you didn't really just parody every single thing you see. There wasn't any Homestar Runner ripoffs, and there wasn't any like screenshots of stuff on Newgrounds that with captions or anything like that. People just didn't do it.
Homestar Runner Newgrounds, man, that takes me back.
So that's the era I'm talking about. The best part of being a mod there was I got to, at one year we went to E3, the year that they revealed the Wii. So this has been like tail end of the GameCube era.
Oh man, that would have been amazing to go to. That would have been unreal.
Did you meet Reggie or Owada or Bill?
No. I didn't get to meet nobody.
You just wait. So you did get like a press pass and all that, right?
Yeah, we get into the conference. I was more excited to get on the show floor. So I was just like a junior guy. I wasn't anyone important. I lucked into it. So, I more just was like enjoying the experience. I'd never been to LA either. So I actually skipped out on some of it and I went and explored LA a little.
Did they fly you out with the hotel, or they just gave you a ticket and a pass?
No. They gave me the press thing and I had to pay the rest of the way on my own.
So it'd be like, I had the opportunity to go to E3 this year for Microsoft's thing, but I couldn't due to other obligations, family and stuff. But yeah, we would have had to pay for everything else ourselves. It was kind of sad I couldn't go this year because big Scorpio announcements, I think. So next question, with the release of the Nintendo Switch, what kind of new features, whether it's a web browser, folders, whatever, do you guys want to see come to that console?
Don't have a Switch, so I don't care.
I do care because I will get a Switch very soon, like in July. But obviously, the goal is at least feature parity with the Wii U. So I would like a browser and a YouTube app and a Netflix app, a Hulu, Amazon. No, not Amazon.
Why would you want a Hulu app? It's no good to us.
Sure, why not?
Wait, you guys can't use Hulu up in Canada land?
Well, not here, but I think you pretty much.
No, it's not available to us.
We have like other ones that
Crave is garbage.
And Rogers. Yeah, we have like Crave and there's a bunch of them. There's like 2 or 3.
I've never heard of those in my life.
They're Canadian only things.
No one uses them except for like 1 or 2 shows. It's like HBO where you get it for 1 show and then you don't really watch it ever again.
I really want to see folders. That's ultimately, yeah, sure, Netflix, YouTube, those apps will be kind of nice, but folders is the one thing I want to see because all it is right now is just a strip of icons and organizing it is going to be a pain in the neck. So I want to see folders so I can organize Switch games and then, the different generation for virtual console games and have one for demos, just like what I did on my Wii U.
What I want is what I talked about earlier. I want put $80 a year on my credit card recurring and give me the virtual console. That's what I want.
Yeah, but you know what? I think we'll find out more about Nintendo's online, their paid online service, and should the stars align, some sort of Game Pass thing for virtual console. I'm sure we'll hear more about that at E3 this year. So the third question is from our very own Mario Master. In a recent Miiverse post, the mystery 3DS Kirby game was called a fighting game. How would you want a potential fighting game to be on either 3DS or Switch?
Well, you guys said this was already a game concept that they've experimented with, so we don't really get a choice on we don't get a choice on what it's going to be, right? Like they've already kind of said, here's what it is.
No, that game, what I'm saying is a game, it's Smash Bros. But with Kirby powers. That game already exists, and this could very well be a similar thing. I mean, I'm assuming it is, and if it is, then it's probably a 3DS. Oh, it is a 3DS game. Yeah, it's probably just going to be using
Yeah.
the same.
If it was on, if there was a
Engine.
Kirby game coming to Switch, it would be a bigger,
That's what I
bigger
thought.
deal.
I was about to say if it's a. I was thinking it'd be like that Kirby game, but they're gonna put it on the Switch with more stuff. But if it's a 3DS game, then it's probably gonna use the same engine, more powers, probably some old powers that like haven't been around for a minute, like I don't know, Jet
Can we
or
can we talk about what we would like to see out of a Kirby game on Switch?
Sure, why not?
Because what I think Kirby would do really well is make use of HD Rumble. I think one of the things that, like I said, Hal likes to do is experiment and try new things with Kirby. And I think a situation where you can feel an enemy kind of floating around inside Kirby with the HD Rumble as you walk around with him.
Oh wow, I hadn't thought
That
of
would be
that.
Like
That could
you,
be-
and then
you're-
then have it shoot out in different ways. That's my dream. Is like he's like fighting to get out of Kirby, and you can feel him kind of punch and kick Kirby from the inside, and can escape your mouth.
and you have to keep him
That
in.
would be really cool.
That could be cool. But what tools does Kirby have to keep someone locked away inside of him?
Well, they would just be on a timer, similar to like in Mario.
So when you absorb someone, you would have to like struggle to absorb them.
Okay, like imagine like it's a Koopa, right? Eventually it comes out of his shell, and you can't carry it around anymore. So it'd be like that. It'd just be an added
like
HD
that.
Rumble feature
Yeah.
that made it feel like he was really in his mouth, and then you'd have a limited time to spit him out. And I'm expecting that would be like a mechanic in a 3D Mario 3D World kind of Kirby game.
I could see that.
Like you'd see Kirby kind of bulging a little bit as he gets punched around while you're carrying him around, and then because that like in the 2D games you can kind of carry things around indefinitely, but I think if you put them in 3D, I'm just saying use the 3D World engine.
Yeah.
Imagine that very first level in Mario Kitty Cat where I call it Mario Kitty Cat because 6-year-old. So we're playing Mario Kitty Cat, and instead of Mario, it's just Kirby, and you instead of killing the enemies the way Mario does, you can suck them up into Kirby and get powers and stuff that way.
I could see that.
I'm really looking forward to a Switch Kirby. I think it'd be good.
Seeing Kirby games on the Switch is gonna be weird. I can just hearing you say that felt weird.
I wanted to feel weird. HD Rumble.
Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of Hello Nintendo. I hope you guys will join us for our next episode where we're going to listen to the other mods whine and complain about getting beaten by yours truly, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Battle Mode. And we'll be discussing a question that's been asked since the dawn of video games. Is Nintendo doomed?
You already know the answer to that, Matt. Nintendo's always doomed.
Thanks again for hanging out with us.
It was a pleasure to hang out with you guys. Thank you for having me on.
We'll hope to have you back again.
No.
Yeah. Video